Today, let us discuss about one of the important topic, that is cancer. This is also called neoplasia. Now, let us discuss about the cancer. Let us discuss about the basic fundamentals of cancer and the differences between the normal cells and the neoplastic cell. Now, let us consider this is a set of normal cells. Let us consider these are the set of normal cells which are taken from our skin. These are the normal cells and these are the neoplastic cells. These are the neoplastic cells and these are the normal cells. Now, let us consider first the basic difference between the normal cells. Here these are the normal cells and these are cancer cells. These are normal cells and cancer cells. Now, first basic difference between the normal cells and neoplastic cells is the growth. Here let us write here, the growth and proliferation in normal cells is under control, whereas the growth and proliferation in neoplastic cells are not under control. This is the first difference. Growth and proliferation is not under control. This is the first difference between the normal cells and neoplastic cell. Now, how can we explain this statement means growth and proliferation is not under control in cancer cells? Let us consider one example. In normal cell, if there is any injury and if this cell is damaged, if this one cell is damaged, then there will be inflammation process will be taking place along these cells, around these cells, and there will be action of lymphocytes and white blood cells and results in inflammation process. There will be platelet adhesion and it will be closed at that position only. Whereas in case of normal cell, in case of cancer cell, if one cell is damaged, they have capacity to proliferate to other cells. They do not end at this stage at one cell only. They have capacity to move from one cell to the another cell. In this way, the growth and proliferation is not under control. Now, let us consider one cell. Let us consider this is one cell. Let us consider this is one cell and inside it is a genetic material. Let us consider this is the genetic material. This is the genetic material of this cell and this is a cell and this is the normal genetic material of the cell. Now, our first point is growth and proliferation is not under control in neoplastic cell, whereas the growth and proliferation in normal cell is under the control. How can you explain this statement means how growth and proliferation is not under control here, but how this growth and proliferation is under control at this state? Now, here in this cell there is a special set of genes. Let us consider these are the special set of genes. These are the special set of genes in the genetic material. Whenever these special set of genes are activated, whenever these special set of genes are activated, now it will activate the another set of genes. Let us consider this is another set of genes. Whenever these special set of genes are activated, it will activate the another type of gene. So these, whenever it is stimulated, this special set of gene is activated. Now what is the purpose of this special set of genes? Means whenever this set of gene is activated, whenever it is activated, it results in DNA replication. So the cell will be moving from G1 phase to S phase. In this way, the cell moves from G1 phase to S phase. Now, in this way, whenever these special set of genes are activated, it will show positive effect on. It will show the positive effect on this special gene. Now, in normal cell, we are discussing about this point. In normal cell, these special gene, whenever it is activated, it results in DNA replication. Then DNA replication, it results in transcription and results in translation and results in protein formation. In this way, in normal cell, this is the process will be taking place. But whereas in cancerous cell, these special set of genes, function of this special set of genes will be overactive. The function of these cells will be overactive. That means the function of this special gene will get triggered. Now, what is the name of this special set of genes? Means the special set of genes name is called proto-oncogenes. Proto-oncogenes. These are the special set of genes which are called proto-oncogenes. Whereas in normal cell, the proto-oncogenes will get activated and it results in DNA synthesis. Whereas in cancer cell, the function of these proto-oncogenes will get triggered and the function will get increased and results in overproduction of this DNA replication. In this way, it becomes abnormal, results in a cancer. Now, this is the function of special set of genes, that is proto-oncogenes. This is the first factor, that is growth and proliferation is not under the control. Now, let us discuss about second characteristic feature of cancer cell. Second characteristic feature of cancer cell. What is the second feature of cancer cell is? It is insensitive to the growth inhibition. Insensitive to the growth inhibition. This is the second one, this is the first one, and here this is the second one. Now, let us discuss about second point. It is insensitive to the growth inhibition. Now, we have discussed about the proto-oncogenes and their function in normal cell, whereas in cancer cell. Now, it is related with the first point. Now, we are going to the second point, that is, it is insensitive to the growth inhibition. What are the inhibitors in this genetic material? Means, now let us consider there is a special set of gene. Here this is a special set of gene. These blue color genes are the special set of genes. Whenever these special set of genes are activated, it will show its response on again this special set of genes. But the point to remember is, whenever the proto-oncogenes are activated, it will show the positive response on this special set of gene and results in DNA replication. Whereas whenever these special set of genes are activated, it will also show its effect on this gene, but it showed the negative effect. That means whenever these special set of genes are activated, it will inhibit the DNA replication. It will inhibit the DNA replication. whenever the proto-oncogenes are activated, it results in DNA replication. But whereas these special set of genes are activated, it will inhibit the DNA replication. That is, in normal cell, whenever it is activated, it results in DNA replication. Whereas in normal cell, whenever these set of genes are activated, it inhibits the DNA replication. Now, in normal cell, the DNA replication should be taking place. So, in order to take place this DNA replication, these proto-oncogenes should be activated and these special set of genes should be inactivated. Now, what are the names of these special set of genes means which are inhibiting this DNA replication means? Before discussing about the name, come back to this point. It is insensitive. The cancer cells are insensitive to the growth inhibitor. Now let us consider this is the growth inhibitor. Now in normal cell, it should be kept inhibited in order to DNA replication. But in cancer cell or neoplastic cell, the function of this special gene will be increased rather than proto-oncogenes, so that DNA replication, whenever it is activated, it results in DNA replication. But in neoplastic cell, the function of this special set of genes which are inhibitory genes, the function will be increased. Whenever the function of these genes are increased, it will stimulate more negative effect. As a result, the negative effect is more when compared to the positive effect. As a result, the DNA replication will be stopped. In this way, the DNA replication will be stopped. That is, it is insensitive to the growth inhibition. Now, it is insensitive to the growth inhibition. So, in cancer cell, these special set of genes will get inhibited. Now, what is the name of this special set of gene means? These special set of genes are called tumor suppressing genes. Tumor suppressing genes. These are the proto-oncogenes and these are the tumor suppressing genes. Whenever the tumor suppressing genes are activated, now it will inhibit the DNA replication. So this is the second point. That first point is growth and proliferation is not under the control and it is insensitive to the growth inhibition. This is the 2 points. And coming to the third point, which is the characteristic feature of cancer cell. Third characteristic feature of the cancer cell is, it is in cancer cell, the DNA repairing genes are mutated. DNA repairing genes are mutated. This is the third characteristic feature. DNA repairing genes are mutated. What are the DNA repairing genes? Where does that it is located means? Now, let us consider this is another set of genes. What are the function of these genes means? If there is any abnormalities in the proto-oncogenes, it will get activated. It will get activated and will repair this genetic material. And if there is any abnormalities in these tumor suppressing genes, these special genes will get activated and it involves in repairing of these genes. And whenever if there is any alterations or any mutations in this in these special genes, these special genes will get activated and it will also involves in repairing of this special set of genes. Now, what is the name of these special genes is called DNA repairing genes. DNA repair gene. This is a special gene, that is DNA repairing gene. Now, in normal cell, if there is any abnormalities in the proto-oncogene or in special synthesis gene or tumor suppressing gene, when there is any abnormalities in these three genes, now these DNA repair genes will get activated and it will repair these proto-oncogenes, or if there is any repair in these tumor suppressing genes, it will activate and repair these special set of genes, and if there is any alterations in these genes, and it will get activated and repair that special set of genes. In this way it is repairing the all the damaged or repairable genes. Now this is the function of in normal cell. Whereas coming to the neoplastic cell, there will be replications or there will be abnormalities in the DNA repairing genes. These DNA repairing genes cannot function thoroughly, so that they cannot repair these proto-oncogenes, cannot repair these tumor suppressing genes. In this way it becomes neoplastic cells. This is the third feature. Now coming to the fourth one, fourth feature, let us discuss about the fourth characteristic feature, that is these cancer cells have limitless replication capacity. Limitless replication capacity. This limitless replication capacity. What are the limitless replication capacity means? Now inside the cell there is another set of genes let us consider this is one gene, and this is another gene. These are the two set of genes. Let us consider these are the two set of genes which is present in each and every cell. Now these two genes are called survival regulating genes. Now the name of this first gene is called anti-apoptotic gene. This is anti-apoptotic gene. Now the name of this special gene is called pro-apoptotic gene. It is pro-apoptotic gene. This is anti-apoptotic gene and this is pro-apoptotic gene. Now our sentence is limitless replication capacity. What is limitless replication capacity means? In normal cell, whenever the anti-apoptotic genes are activated, it will increases the survival of the cell. It will increases the survival of the cell. Whereas whenever these pro-apoptotic genes are activated, it results in dying or it results in killing of the cells. Whereas these anti-apoptotic genes will increase the survival capacity of the cell, whereas these pro-apoptotic genes will decrease the these pro-apoptotic genes will decreases the survival of the cell. Now we have discussed about in normal cell, that is whenever these anti-apoptotic genes are activated. Example for anti-apoptotic genes are BCL2. Example for pro-apoptotic genes are BAX gene. BCL2 and BAX. These are two examples for anti-apoptotic genes and pro-apoptotic genes respectively. Now, in normal cell, whenever the anti-apoptotic genes are activated, it will increases the survival of the cell. Whereas when pro-apoptotic genes are activated, it will decreases the survival capacity of the cell in normal cell. Now, whereas in cancer cell, it is limitless replication capacity. what is limitless replication capacity means? The replication will be increased so that the genetic material which is undergoing the replication will get increased. That is limitless replication. Now coming to the fifth property, that is this cancer cell increases the survival capacity. Increase of survival capacity. How the cancer cell will increase the capacity, survival capacity means these two are called, let us consider these two special set of genes, which is anti-apoptic genes and pro-apoptic genes. These are called growth regulating genes, survival regulating genes. Now in cancer cell it increases the survival capacity. Now in cancer cell the action of the anti-apoptic genes will get increased. It gets increased. It will get increased. Whereas at the same point, these pro-apoptic genes, the function of these pro-apoptic genes will get decreased. It will get decreased. In this way, whenever the anti-apoptotic genes are activated, it will increase the survival of cell. Whenever the pro-apoptic genes are activated, it decreases the survival capacity of the cell. Now, in case of cancer cell, it increases the survival capacity of the cell. That is, in order to increase the survival capacity, the anti-apoptic genes should get activated. Now, whenever these anti-apoptic genes are activated, it increases the survival capacity. Simultaneously, whenever these anti-apoptic genes are activated, it also inhibits the pro-apoptic genes. So whenever the pro-apoptic genes are inhibited, the capacity will survival capacity of the cells are increasing by inhibiting the pro-apoptic genes. Simultaneously, there is stimulation of anti-apoptic genes. In this way, it increases the survival capacity. And coming to the next point, that is, they have capacity to invasion. Capacity of the invasion. What is capacity of invasion? Now, here let us consider there is another set of genes. Let us consider these are the special set of genes. Whenever these special set of genes are activated, it results in over replication and results in invasion. What is this special set of genes are called? Telomerase. Telomerase. These are the special set of genes are called telomerase. So, these are some characteristic features of cancer cell which differs from the normal cell. That is, first one is growth and proliferation is not under the control, and it is insensitive to the growth inhibitors, and DNA replicative genes are mutated, and limitless replication capacity, and increase of survival capacity and capacity of invasion. Now we have discussed about the basic fundamentals of differences between the cancer cell and neoplastic cell. Now let us discuss about the function of proto-oncogenes, that is normal function of proto-oncogenes, and how it converts into abnormal and results in neoplasia. Now let us discuss about the normal function of proto-oncogenes, which whenever the proto-oncogenes are activated, how it results in DNA replication. After discussing about the normal functioning of proto-oncogenes, how it converts the proto-oncogenes into abnormal proto-oncogenes and results in cancer. Let us discuss the function of proto-oncogenes. Proto-oncogenes. It is proto-oncogenes. Now let us discuss about the normal function of, first let us discuss about the normal physiology of proto-oncogenes in DNA replication, and after discussing about the normal physiology, let us discuss about the abnormality, how the normal proto-oncogene converts into abnormal proto-oncogene and results in cancer. Now let us discuss one cell. Let us consider this is one cell. Now this is one cell, and inside it consists of genetic material. Let us consider this is the genetic material, and here it is a genetic material. This is a cell, and this is a genetic material. This is a cell membrane, and this is a genetic material. Now these proto-oncogenes are not a single genes, these are the set of genes. Now let us consider this is the first set of proto-oncogene. This is the first set of proto-oncogene. Now this first set of proto-oncogene will get activated. It gets activated. And whenever it gets activated, then it forms special structure, that is special protein, that is growth factor. Let us consider this is a special protein, that is growth factor. This is the first step in proto-oncogenes function, that is the first set of proto-oncogenes will get activated, which results in formation of growth factors. It results in formation of growth factor. Now after forming of growth factor, there is next set of gene will get activated. Set 2. Second set of gene will get activated. Whenever the second set of gene will get activated, whenever the first set of gene is activated, it forms the growth factor. Now the function of first set of gene is over. Coming to the second set, whenever the second set of gene is activated, then it forms the receptor for growth factor. That means it forms the receptor. Let us consider this is a receptor, that is growth factor receptor. This is a growth factor receptor, and this is a growth factor. Now after forming, this growth factor will attach here. This growth factor will get attached here. This is a second set of gene. When our second set of gene is activated, it results in formation of growth factor receptor. After formation of this growth factor receptor, this growth factor will come and bind to this growth factor receptor. It will bind to the growth factor receptor. This is the function of second set of gene. Now, there is another set of gene, that is next set of gene. That is third set of gene. Whenever the third set of gene is activated, whenever this third set of gene is activated, then it forms special protein let us consider this is one protein which is attached to the membrane. Now the name of this special protein is, before discussing about name of this special protein, whenever the third set of gene is activated, it forms or it stimulates or results in formation of special protein which is attached to the membrane, which is transmembranous protein. The name of this special protein is called RAS protein. RAS, RAS protein. This is a third set of gene. Now, whenever the RAS protein is activated, this RAS protein which is activated will activate another set of genes, that is, it will activate fourth set of genes. It will activate the fourth set of genes. It will activate the fourth set of gene. This is the fourth set of gene. Now, whenever this RAS protein is also called signal transducer, which it also called signal transducer. Now, whenever this signal transducer is activated, it will activate the fourth set of gene. Now, whenever the fourth set of gene is activated, then it forms the transcriptional factor. It forms the transcriptional factor. Let us consider this is the transcriptional factor. This is a transcriptional factor. Now, whenever this transcriptional factor is formed, which is the function of fourth gene, now this transcriptional factor will activate another set of genes, which are these are all comes under the proto-oncogenes. It will activate another set of genes, proto-oncogenes. Which are fifth set of genes. Whenever these transcription factors are these are also called activators. Whenever the activators are activated, then it forms, whenever these activators are activated, it will activate the another set of gene, that is fifth set of gene. Whenever this fifth set of gene is activated, it will activate the special proteins. These special proteins are called cyclins. These special proteins are called cyclins. these are the special proteins which are synthesized from the fifth set of gene, which are called cyclins. So whenever these cyclins are formed, it will activate the another set of genes which are subset of proton. These are all the subsets of proto-oncogenes. Set 1, set 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the sets of proto-oncogenes. Whenever the cyclins are activated, then it will activate the another set of genes. It will activate the another set of genes, that is, it will activate the sixth set of gene. It will activate the sixth set of gene. Now, whenever cyclins are activating the sixth set of gene, after the activation of sixth set of gene, then this sixth set of gene will activate special enzyme. It will activate special enzyme, that is these are the cyclins. Here it is a seed, and it releases a special set of enzymes which are called these 60 set of genes will release special set of enzyme which is called, these are cyclins which release a special substance called cyclin dependent kinases, that are CDKs. These are cyclin dependent kinases. This is the normal stimulation of or normal function of proto-oncogenes. Now let us stop this story here, and there are here, this is the genetic material. Now we will stop this story here, and there is special set of genes which are replicating genes. These are the proto-oncogenes and these are the replicating genes, and here we will discuss about tumor suppressing genes. Now normally it is stopped at this cyclin dependent kinase enzyme activity. Directly it do not involves in DNA replication. How it results in DNA replication means, we are discussing about the normal physiology of proto-oncogenes. Whenever the cyclin dependent kinases are activated, it will stop here, and these are the DNA replicating genes, and here there is a special protein. This is a special protein, that is, the name of this special protein is E2F protein. E2F protein. The name of this protein is E2F protein. Now, normally E2F protein should bind with, first let us discuss, in order to DNA replication, this E2F protein should bind this DNA replicating gene. After binding this E2F protein towards the replicating gene, it results in DNA replication. But in normal physiology, this E2F protein will be kept inhibited in special set of gene, special protein. It is kept inhibited in special proteins. The name of this special protein is RB protein. The name of this special protein is RB protein. So, in order to replicate the DNA, these E2F protein which is inhibited by this RB protein should be relaxed from this RB protein, and after relaxing, this E2F protein will bind with this DNA replicating genes. So how this RB protein should will relax this E2F protein. Now we have stopped our story in at this stage, that is cyclin dependent kinase. Now how these RB protein will relax this E2F protein in order to DNA replicate means, let us consider this RB protein here. Let us consider this is the RB protein which is removed out. These are the cyclin dependent kinases. Now these cyclin dependent kinases will show its action on these RB proteins. It will show its action on RB proteins. So after showing its action, these RB proteins will undergo phosphorylation. It undergoes phosphorylation. Whenever it undergoes phosphorylation, then this E2F protein will get relaxed from this RB protein. Once again, this E2F protein is kept inhibited inside the RB protein. So in order to DNA replicate, this E2F protein should be relaxed from this RB protein. How this RB protein will relax this E2F protein means, how it will stimulate this E2F protein means, here with the help of sixth set of gene, that is proto-oncogene, will get activated, and whenever these cyclin dependent kinases are activated, then it involves in phosphorylating the RB proteins. Whenever this RB protein is phosphorylated, then it will release the E2F protein which is present inside this RB protein. Whenever it is phosphorylated, this E2F protein will be removed from this inside this RB protein. So after removing, this E2F protein will be binded to this DNA replicating gene, and it undergoes the DNA replication. In this way, it is inhibited by now this RB protein which is phosphorylated by CDKs. It is phosphorylated by CDKs. In this way, whenever it is phosphorylated, it will releases the ETF which is binded inside this RB protein. Now what is RB means? Retinoblastoma. Now in this way, whenever it is phosphorylated, it releases the E2F protein. Whenever it is releasing the E2F protein, it will bind it to the DNA replicating gene. After binding with DNA replicating gene, it involves in formation of new set of DNA materials. In this way, normally the DNA replication will be taking place. That is normal function of proto-oncogenes. So we have discussed about the normal function of proto-oncogenes. How these proto-oncogenes will result in cancer. One first point to remember is, whenever there is overactivation of these proto-oncogenes will result in cancer. First, let us discuss about the first point. Let us discuss about the first point. Factors which results these proto-oncogenes into oncogenes. The first factor, that is, there will be the point mutation in this first set of gene. That is, first one is point mutation. in set number 1. This is a point mutation in set number 1. Whenever if there is point mutation in the set number 1, what will be the consequences will be facing? That means in normally what is the product of first set of gene means it releases the growth factor. After releasing, it releases the growth factor receptor and it will get binded here. Now point mutation in set 1 means if there is point mutation, then there will be overproduction of growth factors. There will be overproduction of growth factors. Overproduction of growth factors. It results in overproduction of growth factors. If there is overproduction of growth factors, there will be overproduction of growth factor receptors and there will be overproduction of RAS proteins and there will be more production of activators and there will be more production of genetic material which will be abnormal. In this way, point mutation is the first condition which results in conversion of proto-oncogenes into oncogenes. Now, let us discuss about the second factor. Let us discuss about the second factor, that is DNA amplification. That is DNA amplification. What is DNA amplification means? Whenever the normal function of set 2 is, it will activate it will form the protein product that is called growth factor receptor. So whenever there is DNA amplification, these growth factor receptors are produced in more number. That is, growth factor receptors are produced more in number. This is the second factor, that is DNA amplification. And coming to the third factor, that is translocation of APC genes. Translocation of APC genes. These are the three conditions which results in conversion of proto-oncogenes into oncogenes. That is, first one is point mutation in set 1. If there is point mutation in set 1, there will be more production of growth factors. If there is more production of growth factors, there will be more production of growth factor receptors. Second one is DNA amplification. If there is DNA amplification, there will be overproduction of growth factor receptors. Now, third one is translocation of APC genes. APC genes are normal set of genes APC genes are tumor suppressing genes. So these are the proto-oncogenes, normal function of proto-oncogenes, and how it converts the proto-oncogenes into abnormal oncogenes. Now let us discuss about tumor suppressor genes. Now let us discuss about the tumor suppressor genes. Tumor suppressor genes. Topic is tumor suppressor genes. First, let us discuss about the normal function of tumor suppressor genes. That is, let us discuss first one, that is first type of tumor suppressor genes. That is, first one is RB protein. first protein, that is RB protein. Let us consider this is the RB protein. Normally this RB protein, let us discuss about the normal function of tumor suppressing gene, that is RB protein. Now whenever this normal RB protein is activated, it results in formation of RB proteins. Whenever these RB genes are activated, let us consider these are the RB genes. Whenever these special set of RB genes are activated, it results in formation of RB proteins. It forms RB proteins. And whenever it is forming the RB proteins, it will inhibit the function of this E2F protein. That is, it is inhibiting the function of E2F protein. So normally we know that the E2F protein, these tumor suppressing genes function should be decreased and the proto-oncogenes function should be increased in order to DNA replication. Now normally RB protein will be producing this RB protein. RB gene is producing the RB protein. It is inhibiting this E2F protein. Now let us discuss another tumor suppressing genes. Let us consider this is another tumor suppressor gene. The name of this tumor suppressor gene is P53 gene. This is a P53 gene, which is a tumor suppressor gene. Now this normally P53 gene will be inactive form. When this P53 gene will get activated means, let us consider during the DNA replication, this is a DNA replication. If there is, this is the DNA replication. Now there are the special set of genes let us consider these are the special set of genes. The function of this special set of genes is it will check the DNA sequence. It will check the DNA sequence during the DNA replication. Now, if there is any alterations, let us consider this adenine, thymine, guanine. Guanine should be paired with cytosine. So, in order to pairing with cytosine, if it is paired with uracil, it is the abnormality. Now, if there is any abnormality, then these special set of genes will activate and notice the abnormalities at this newly formed DNA. Now, what is the name of this special set of gene means? ATM gene, ataxia telangiectasia, ataxia telangiectasia mutation gene, ataxia telangiectasia mutation gene, ATM gene. So, whenever this ATM gene is activated, it reads and it is also called proofreader gene. It will read the base pairs. If there is any abnormality, it will send the signal to this P53 gene. This is a normal function. We are discussing about the normal functions of tumor suppressing genes. Later we will discuss about the abnormalities. Now we are discussing about the second one, P53 gene. P53 gene. Now, whenever if there is any abnormality, coming back to here, if there is any abnormality in this area or if in this genetic newly formed genetic material, now it will send the signal. ATM gene will send the signal to this P53 gene. It will send the signal to this P53 gene and it will get stimulated. It gets stimulated. So whenever this P53 gene will get stimulated, then it will release a special protein. It will release the special protein that is let us consider this is a special protein which is released by P53 which is released when there is abnormalities in the DNA replication. Now it will inhibit the action of this CDKs. It will inhibit the action of CDKs. If there is inhibition of CDKs, it cannot phosphorylate the RB protein. If there is no phosphorylation of RB protein, this RB protein cannot release this E2F protein. If this E2F protein is cannot released, or if it do not released and it is kept inhibited, this E2F protein cannot stimulate the DNA replicating genes. If there is no DNA replicating genes are activated, then there is no further DNA replication. In this way, the tumor suppressing genes, that is RB protein, will release a special protein. The name of this special protein is P16 gene. P16 gene. The name of this special protein is P16 gene, which works on CDKs or will inhibit the function of CDKs. Now, this is the function of CDKs, and after the inhibiting the function of CDKs, it will work at this junction. And how it will work means, whenever P16 gene is activated, it inhibits the CDKs and there is again another set of genes will get activated from P53 gene. Another set of genes will activated. Now these special set of genes are DNA repairing genes. These are the special set of genes that are DNA repairing genes. After releasing a DNA repairing genes, it will work at this area. These DNA repairing genes will work at this area. Now, and it will correct this area. Now, after DNA repairing genes will done its work, the abnormality will get converted into normal DNA. After conversion of this abnormality into normality, the function of this P53 should be decreased. So it gets inactivated. Before it gets inactivated, this P53 gene will release a special protein. It will release as a special protein. This is a special protein. Whenever this special protein is released, it will kill the P53 gene. What is the name of this special protein is MDM2 gene. MDM2 gene. MDM2 gene, which is produced by the P53 gene, which undergoes killing of this its own P53 gene. Then P53 gene will get died. So this is a normal procedure. But if the DNA repair is too much large so that it cannot get repaired, then this P53 gene will release pro-apoptic genes. It will release a special protein that are pro-apoptic genes. Whenever the pro-apoptic genes are activated, then it will activate the caspases, then it will activate the apoptic bodies, then it undergoes apoptosis. In this way it will undergo natural death process. This is the function of p53 genes, and these are the second genes that are tumor suppressing genes, that are p53 genes, which is working as tumor suppressor genes. Now let us discuss about another set of tumor suppressing genes, that are third one, APC genes, beta catenins and APC genes, beta catenins and APC genes. Now let us consider this is a receptor. Let us consider this is one receptor, and it is activated by WNT protein. Will activate this WNT protein will activate this. Whenever it gets activated, it will release a special protein, that is catenins. These are the beta catenins. These are the beta catenins. Now, normally these beta catenins are kept inhibited. These beta catenins are kept inhibited. How these are kept inhibited means, these are inhibited by in special set of proteins. This is a special protein which is kept inhibiting these beta catenins. The name of this special protein is APC protein. APC protein. Now the question is, how this APC protein is synthesizing means, this APC protein is synthesized and it is kept inhibiting the beta catenins. The normal function of beta catenins is, it will activate this MYC gene. Whenever MYC gene is activated, it forms cyclins, and it forms cyclin dependent kinase and release in DNA replication, results in DNA replication. Now these beta catenins are inhibited by these APC proteins. How these APC proteins are formed means, there is a special set of genes. These are the special set of genes which are called APC genes. These are the APC genes, and these APC genes will release these APC proteins. It will release these APC proteins. Now, whenever these APC genes are activated, it inhibits the beta catenins. Now, whenever these APC genes are inhibiting these beta catenins, these beta catenins will get inhibited. Whenever these beta catenins are inhibited, they cannot activate the MYC gene. So, whenever the MYC gene is not activated, they cannot produce the cyclins. Whenever they cannot produce the cyclins, they cannot phosphorylate the RB genes. So whenever they cannot phosphorylate the RB genes, they cannot release this E2F protein. If we cannot release this ETF protein, then they cannot produce the DNA replication. In this way, these APC genes are involved in suppressing the DNA replication. Now, these beta catenins can also inhibit by another process. Let us consider. Let us consider this is a special chemical structure in which these beta catenins will be inhibited. Now, these are the special chemical structures in which the beta catenins will be inhibited. Now, what is the name of these special structures are called cladarins, or it is called E-cladarins. These are the E-cladarins. Now, from where does this E-cladarins are synthesized means there are special set of genes that are called cladarin genes. They are tumor suppressing genes. There are fourth set of genes that are cladarin genes. Cladarin gene. So it will inhibit whenever the E-cladarin gene is present. It will inhibit the function of these beta catenins. Whenever the beta catenins are inhibited, they cannot activate the MYC gene and they cannot produce the cyclin dependent kinases and cannot phosphorylate this RB protein and cannot release this ETF protein and do not involve in DNA replication. In this way, these E-cladarins are also helpful in inhibiting the beta catenins. These beta catenins are MYC gene activators. Now, these E-cladarins are also involved in attaching the cell membranes of each other cells. Here, this is the, let us consider this is the another cell. In this way, these E-cladarins are inhibiting the function of these beta catenins, are also involving in the attachment of neighboring cells. So these are the another type of tumor suppressor genes. There is another set of tumor suppressor genes that are neurofibrin 1 gene. Neurofibrin 1 gene. Neurofibrin 1 gene. What is the neurofibrin 1 gene? Let us consider this is neurofibrin 1 gene. These are all the tumor suppressor genes and these are all the proto-oncogenes. The name of this is neurofibrin 1 gene. Whenever this neurofibrin 1 gene is activated, it will inhibit the RAS protein. RAS protein will get inhibited. This is a function of neurofibrin 1 gene. Whenever neurofibrin 1 gene is activated, then it inhibits the function of RAS protein. Whenever the RAS protein function is inhibited, then whenever this RAS protein is inhibited, they do not activate the activators. So they do not activate the translation factors. If they do not activate the translation factor, they cannot produce the cyclins. If they cannot produce the cyclins, they cannot produce the cyclin dependent kinases. If they cannot produce the cyclin dependent kinases, they cannot activate or they cannot phosphorylate the RB proteins. If they cannot phosphorylate the RB proteins, they cannot release the ETF proteins. If they cannot release the ETF proteins, then there is no further DNA replication. In this way, it helps in decreasing the DNA replication. Now, if there is lack of this neurofibrin 1 gene, it results in a condition called neurofibromatosis type 1. Neurofibromatosis type 1. Neurofibromatosis type 1. And in same way, which have same function, that is another set of tumor suppressor genes are called neurofibrin 2 gene. Neurofibrin 2 gene. Now, if there is lack of this neurofibrin 2 gene, it results in a condition called neurofibromatosis type 2. Neurofibromatosis type 2. If there is lack of neurofibrogen 1, it results in neurofibromatosis type 1 disease. If there is lack of neurofibrin 2 gene, it results in condition called neurofibromatosis type 2. And the function of this is, let us consider, this is neurofibrin 2 gene. The function of this neurofibrin 2 gene is, it will work on these special set of proteins and will inhibit the activators. That is the function of this neurofibrin 2 genes, that is neurofibrin 2. This is the neurofibrin 2 gene. Whenever it is activated, it will inhibit the transcription factor. If there is transcription factor is inhibited, there is no production of cyclins. If there is no production of cyclins, there is no production of cyclin dependent kinases, and then inhibits the phosphorylation of RB proteins and will inhibit the ETF protein and will results in decrease in the DNA replication. In this way, neurofibrinogen 2 is a special another protein. Now, there is another protein which are tumor suppressing protein, that are von Hippel-Lindase genes, and another set of genes are called patched genes, and ninth one is KLF6 genes, and last one is P10 genes. And one of the most important type of tumor suppressor is Walton's tumor 1 gene. Walton's tumor 1 gene. This is a special tumor suppressor gene in which whenever these Walton's tumor 1 gene is activated, what are the changes that takes place means, mesenchymal cells will convert into epithelial cells. Mesenchymal cells will get converted into epithelial cells. This is the abnormalities that can be seen in Walton tumor 1 gene. Now, in this way, tumor suppressing genes are activated. This is the normal function of tumor suppressing genes. Now, let us discuss how these tumor suppressing genes will convert normal cell into the neoplastic cell. That is, first one is deletion of these genes. Let us write here. First one is deletion of genes. Deletion of these genes. Deletion of these RB genes P53 genes, APC genes, neurofibrin 1 genes and neurofibrin 2 genes will result in abnormalities. That means if the gene is deleted, then the action of these tumor suppressing genes will get decreased. Whenever if there is decrease, then proto-oncogene action will get increased. If there is overaction of proto-oncogenes, there will be more production of cyclin-dependent kinases. So there will be no, if these tumor suppressing genes are deleted, there will be no production of these RB genes, and there will be no production of these APC genes, and there will be no production of these E-cladrins. If there is no production of these RB genes and E-cladrins and APC genes, then these cyclin-dependent kinase enzyme can phosphorylate these RB genes, and these beta-catenins can activate these MYC genes, and these beta-catenins can also activate these MYC genes. Whenever these genes are activated, then it will activate the E2F genes, E2F proteins. If these E2F proteins are activated, it results in DNA replication. In this way, tumor suppressing genes, that is, first one is deleting the gene, and next one is partial deleting. Partial deletion of gene. Normally, there are many reasons for conversion of the tumor suppressor gene into neoplastic gene. First, these are the two normal causes, that is deletion gene, and next one is partial deletion, and next one is mutations. Mutations in gene. These are the three causes which converts the tumor suppressing gene into the normal tumor suppressing gene into the neoplastic cells. In this way, deleting the gene is the first process, and partial deletion is the second process, and mutation is the third process. In this way, that normally functioning the tumor suppressing genes will convert into the proto-oncogenes. One of the most important is Walton tumor 1 gene, which is the tumor suppressing genes. Now, in this way, we have discussed about the normal function of proto-oncogenes and how it converts the normal proto-oncogenes into oncogenes, and we have discussed the normal function of tumor suppressing genes and how it converts the tumor normal cell into the neoplastic cell. Now, let us discuss about the survival of neoplastic cells. Now, let us discuss about survival of neoplastic cells. Survival of neoplastic cell. Survival of the neoplastic cells. At the beginning, that is introduction of this neoplasia, we have discussed the two types of genes which are called survival genes. What are the two types of genes? Means, in order to leave the neoplastic cell, there should be the balance between the two set of genes. There should be balance between the two set of genes. Here this is a one set of gene, and here this is the another set of gene. This is a one set of gene, and this is the another set of gene. Now, in order to survive the neoplastic cell, let us consider this is the gene number 1 and this is the gene number 2. Now, in order to increase the survival capacity of this neoplastic cell, the function of this first gene should be increased, and the function of the second gene should be decreased. It should be increased. The function of this first gene should be increased. The function of this first gene should be increased, and the function of this second gene, stimulation of second gene, should be decreased. It should be decreased and it should be increased. Now, what are the names of this special set of genes means? The first set of genes which is related with survival genes is called anti-apoptotic genes. Anti-apoptotic genes. Now, these are the anti-apoptotic genes. The second set of genes which is related with survival of neoplastic cells are called pro-apoptotic genes. Pro-apoptotic genes. Anti-apoptotic genes and pro-apoptotic genes. Normally, in normal cell, the concentration of anti-apoptotic genes will be higher when compared to the pro-apoptotic genes. Whenever this anti-apoptotic genes is activated, whenever this concentration of anti-apoptotic genes is higher when compared to the pro-apoptotic genes, then the survival capacity will be increased. Now, in normal condition, that is in normal condition. Whereas in case of neoplastic cell, that is already abnormal cell, then there will be more stimulation of these anti-apoptotic genes. There will be overstimulation of anti-apoptotic genes. There will be more stimulation of these anti-apoptotic genes. These anti-apoptotic genes will get activated. These anti-apoptotic genes will get activated. As a result, the survival capacity of this neoplastic cell will get increased, so that it lives for a longer time. Then these pro-apoptotic gene will get decreased. It will get inhibited. It gets inhibited. It gets stimulated and it gets inhibited. These anti-apoptotic genes will get activated, whereas pro-apoptotic genes will get inhibited. In this way, whenever there is anti-apoptotic genes are stimulated, it will increases the survival capacity of this neoplastic cell. Whenever these pro-apoptotic genes are activated, it decreases the survival capacity of neoplastic cell. Whereas in neoplastic cell, abnormal neoplastic cell, these anti-apoptotic genes are increased, pro-apoptotic genes are decreased. So, in this way, the survival capacity of neoplastic cell can be discussed. Now, let us discuss about the DNA repair mechanism in cells. How the DNA repairing mechanism takes place in cancer cell. First, let us discuss how the DNA repair takes place in normal cell, and if the DNA repair mechanism fails, how it results in cancer. DNA repair mechanism. Normally, this DNA repair mechanism is classified into three categories. We classify into three categories. The first category is mismatch repair. That is mismatch repair. And the second group is called nucleotide excision repair. nucleotide excision repair. And the third mechanism is homologous recombination repair mechanism. Homologous recombination mechanism. Homologous recombination mechanism. Now, let us discuss these in detail. What is mismatch repair, nucleotide excision repair, and homologous repair? Now, first let us discuss the first mechanism, that is mismatch repair. Let us consider this is a normal DNA material Let us consider this is a normal DNA which undergoes DNA replication. Now, this is 5 prime to 3 prime and this is 5 prime to 3 prime. This is 5 prime to 3 prime. G A T C. Now, in mismatch repair, this is the father chain. This is the father DNA, and this is the daughter DNA. This is 5 prime and this is 3 prime. In daughter DNA, this is guanine should pair with cytosine, adenine should pair with thymine, thymine should pair with adenine, cytosine should pair with guanine. Whereas in mismatch repair, these adenine should pair with thymine, but it will pair with uracil, any other nucleotide. Now, this is the abnormality. This is the abnormality which is observed. Now, the DNA polymerase enzyme comes into action. DNA polymerase. It will comes into action. It helps in proofreading. First of all, it reads this genetic material and it will check this genetic material. Now, how this DNA polymerase enzyme will detect the abnormality only in the daughter chain, whereas it do not detect the abnormalities in the parent chain, because every student should know that, intelligent student should know that this parent chain consists of methyl groups. It consists of methyl groups. On every nucleotide, whereas in daughter chain it do not contain the methyl groups. So this DNA polymerase will detect the abnormalities in the DNA, newly formed DNA, which is do not having the methyl groups. That is, these methyl groups are present in parent chain, but these are absent in the daughter chain. So it will detect the abnormalities in daughter chain only. In this way, this DNA polymerase helps in detection. Now, there will be endonuclease enzyme will comes into action. There is endonuclease comes into action, and there will be cutting at these positions. And after the cutting at these positions, it will be pushed towards the downside. Will be pushed towards the downside. and then new which should match to this parent chain will be inserted at this area, that is thymine will be inserted. In this way the thymine will be inserted. So there will be correct position of this base pairs. So this is the replacement of mismatch mechanism. If there is any abnormalities in the mismatch mechanism, it can be seen, the mismatch mechanism can be seen in hereditary, non-polyposis, colon carcinoma. Hereditary non-polyposis colon carcinoma. It results in this condition. If there is any mismatch, mismatch repair is abnormal, it results in condition in hereditary non-polyposis carcinoma, that is cancer. In this way the mismatch repairing mechanism can be done. If there is any failure of this mismatch repair, it results in hereditary non-polyposis colon carcinoma. Now this is about mismatch repair. Now let us discuss the second mechanism. Second mechanism, that is nucleotide excision repair. This is the genetic material. Let us consider this is the genetic material. This is 5' to 3', 5' to 3'. In nucleotide excision repair, it undergoes DNA replication, then it forms the dimers. Let us consider this is 5' to 3' and this is 5' to 3'. It forms the dimers like tyrosine and tyrosine. It forms the dimers in tyrosine. In this way, nucleotide excision repair mechanism can be done. If there is any abnormalities in the nucleotide excision repair, it results in a condition called xeroderma pigmentosum. Xeroderma pigmentosum. Xeroderma pigmentosum is a cancer which is caused because of abnormalities in nucleotide excision repair mechanism, that is the DNA mechanism repair, DNA repair mechanism, that is xeroderma pigmentosum. This is about nucleotide excision repair. Now let us discuss about next mechanism, that is homologous recombination mechanism. What is homologous recombination mechanism means? Let us consider this is a gene. Let us consider this is normal genetic material. If there is any alterations in one set of genes, if it is thymine should pair with adenine, if it is paired with uracil, this is the abnormal. Now in homologous recombination mechanism, whatever the mismatched repair, this is a mismatched repair, will be removed out. It will be removed out. Now the mismatched repair will be removed out. We all know that every cell consists of two sets of chromosomes, one is from parent and other from his mother. Now there is homologous cells, homologous DNA material. It will bring the homologous DNA material towards its side, and it forms the base pairs which are against to this, so that guanine should pair with cytosine, adenine should pair with thymine, and cytosine should pair with guanine, thymine should pair with adenosine, cytosine should pair with guanosine. In this way, this is from 3' to 5'. In this way, it forms new genetic material. It forms a new genetic material which brings the genetic material from homologous cells. In this way, if there is any alterations in this homologous recombination mechanism, it results in 3 types of carcinomas. First one is ataxia, telangiectasia. Ataxia, telangiectasia, which is caused because of radiations, by radiations. And second type is Fanconi anemia. Fanconi anemia is the second type of cancer, which is caused because of, it is also caused because of radiations. It is affected by the radiation. And another set of carcinoma, that is called Bloom syndrome. Bloom syndrome, which is caused because of action of alkylating agent. Caused because of alkylating agent. In this way, that we have discussed about the normal DNA repair mechanism, and if there is any abnormalities in these 3, that is mismatch repair, nucleotide excision repair, and homologous recombination mechanism, it results in different kinds of mechanisms with different kinds of carcinomas. If there is any mismatch, if there is any abnormalities in the mismatch repair, it results in a condition called hereditary non-polyposis colon carcinoma. If there is any abnormalities in nucleotide excision repair mechanism, it results in a condition called xeroderma pigmentosum. If there is any abnormalities in homologous recombination mechanism, it results in 3 conditions: ataxia, telangiectasia, Fanconi anemia, and Bloom syndrome. These are the normal DNA repair mechanism which is associated with conversion of normal cells into neoplastic cells. Now, let us discuss about replication of neoplastic cell. That is limitless replication of neoplastic cells. Limitless replication of neoplastic cells. Now, let us discuss first normal replication in normal cells. First, let us discuss in normal cells. This is a chromosome. Inside consists of genetic material which undergoes DNA replication. Now, as it undergoes the DNA replication, the ends of this DNA material will be lost. End of this DNA materials will be lost. There is a special enzyme that is called telomerase. A special enzyme called telomerase normally in normal cell, if it overworks, it will activate the special gene, that is p53 gene. It will activate the p53 gene. Now this p53 gene will activate the pro-apoptic genes. And these pro-apoptic genes will activate the caspase action. Whenever the caspase action is activated, it results in apoptosis. In this way, if the telomerase action is more, it will activate the p53 gene. In normal cell, the telomerase action is, it will remove the ends of this DNA material. It will remove the ends of the DNA material, so that the DNA material will become shortened. It becomes shortened so that it reaches certain position where it do not undergoes further DNA replication process. If it is undergoing further DNA replication process, this p53 gene will get activated and pro-apoptic genes will activate, and it results in apoptosis. In normal cell, this is a normal cell. Whereas now let us discuss about neoplastic cell. This is neoplastic cell. In neoplastic cell, we have discussed that at the ends there is telomerase enzyme. In neoplastic cell, this telomerase enzyme activity is more. Whenever the action of telomerase enzyme activity is more, as the DNA replication is further progressing, in normal cell as the DNA replication is going on, the length of this DNA material will be becoming closer, whereas in telomerase, in abnormal cell, that is neoplastic cell, as the cell is undergoing DNA replication, the length of this DNA is decreasing, but the action of telomerase is activated. Whenever the telomerase is activated, whatever the DNA material whose length is decreased, again this telomerase action will increase the length. So whenever the action is increased, whenever the length is increased, it undergoes further replication process. It will extend the length of genetic material. As a result, whenever the length of the genetic material is increasing rapidly, it has more capacity to undergo replication process. In this way, this is a normal cell which undergoes replication process. During the replication process, because of the absence of action of this telomerase enzyme, this p53 gene will activated, and it results in activation of pro-apoptic gene and will activate the caspase and will result in apoptosis. Whereas in neoplastic cell, whenever it is undergoing the DNA replication process, this telomerase action will be increased. As telomerase action is increased, it will extend the length of this genetic material. As the length of genetic material is increased, then there will be more replication process, and if there is more replication process, there will be undergoing metastasis. As it undergoes metastasis, it results in neoplastic cell. This is the complete lecture of neoplasia.